do that. Testing 1, 2.
Okay.
Now you're unmuted, so see how it does the little microphone showing.
Hello.
Hi, Kim, it's Lori. I can hear you. Thank you for being here.
Hello, hello.
Hi, we hear you.
I was wondering if we could change my name from my email to my name.
I will. Yep.
Awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Did you say something about getting rid of the chat for the YouTube?
No, no.
Are you on YouTube?
I am. I didn't enter. Yes. We should make notes and get this all handled.
Well, they're just different shipping time.
Careful, we're recording. Back up.
never find the link to sign up to be a participant for the Zoom.
A participant?
Yeah, for like, yeah, just for what people out.
You know what, it's in the spotlight part here, but that link is not working at this point. Lori said she changed it, and she's looking to change it back.
Okay. All right. I was gonna try to test the,
How are you, sir?
I'm good, how are you?
Good, you don't happen to be Kalani, do you?
I am.
Wow, it's almost like there's a seat
I
calling
think
your
there
name.
is today, huh?
Yeah, welcome.
Thank you.
Hey, are you, Kalani?
I am.
I'm Miss Valdez, how are you?
I'm good, how are you?
I'm great, nice to meet you.
Thank you, you too.
Y'all ready to go? There's your seat up there.
Oh,
You can go around that side.
Thank you.
Were you able to fix the link?
Yeah, that's all done.
I don't think so. Well, let me reload.
First of all, everything seems to be working in box.
I would like, make sure it's not me, would you mind going to the spotlight and then online board meeting participation? Either if it's me or if it's Louise.
You know,
I'm sorry? Yeah, I want to see.
I thought we just checked it, and I thought it worked, so I must have the wrong setting. Oh, yeah.
Recording in progress.
We need to mute, we're getting good stuff. And, or does this have to?
hear them on the computer though. They're speaking and I can't hear them.
I think they're still muted.
No, I
Okay.
unmuted myself.
No, they're still.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
okay,
the room is muted. People are fine.
okay. Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
I'm Sherry.
You're chairing.
Should I send her out to the back? Yeah, that's fine. You did not need to.
Are we ready?
All yours, high school workers, that's why I used to sit up that's why I used to sit up alone. Here's one they changed. I don't know. Just go with it.
Are we ready?
Testing, 1, 2, 3.
Sounds good. All right. The board will now convene open session and report out from closed session. There was no action taken by the board in closed session. If you are joining us online via Zoom webinar and you would like to provide public comment for this meeting, you may do so by utilizing the raise your hand option on Zoom. Or if you're calling in by phone, please press *9 and wait to be called on. Community members may still provide public comments to the board prior to each meeting via email at publiccomment@nhusd.k12.ca.us. There were no comments provided to the board for tonight's meeting via the public comment email address. I would like to remind the public that we will not be responding to questions posed by those making public comments. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. May we have the roll call, please?
Calderon.
Here.
Chima.
Here.
But you're not getting sound.
Cameron.
Here.
Olive.
Here.
Ishihara.
Here.
Swetmauer.
Here. The next item is 5.3, approval of the agenda. May I have a motion and a second to approve tonight's agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Roll call, please.
Calderon.
Here.
Chima.
Aye.
Cameron.
Aye.
Olive.
Aye.
Ishihara.
Aye.
Swetmauer.
Aye. The next item is 5.4, our land acknowledgement. I would like to invite trustee Nishihira to read our land acknowledgement this evening.
We want to open up this meeting by acknowledging with respect and love that the land that we are on today is traditional ancestral homeland of the Ohlone Tutchone First People. We recognize and thank the Ohlone people as the original stewards of this land. Indigenous people must not be spoken about in past contexts as if they were left on their own accord, when the real causes were white supremacy, manifest destiny, the U.S. and U.S. colonization. By recognizing we stand on the occupied indigenous territory of the Ohlone people, we recommit ourselves to listen to Native leadership and stand in solidarity with people struggling against systems of oppression throughout the world, past and present.
Thank you. Thank you. Next item is item 6.1 is hearing of visitors on topics not on the agenda. If you would like to make a comment and you are participating via Zoom, please use the raise your hand function. If you're calling in, please press *9. Are there any speakers here that would like to speak on items not on the agenda? No blue cards. Okay. And no raised hands on Zoom either. Okay, perfect. We will now move on to item 7.1, hearing of visitors on topics on the agenda. I'd like to remind everybody that if you're here for the public hearing about the sale of field at Columbia High School, that is section 9.1. We will have a public hearing at that time. So if you wish to comment on 9.1,
quiere hacer comentarios en esta reunión, lo puede hacer.
Are there any blue cards on topics on the agenda? Are there any speakers via Zoom?
¿Hay algunos habladores que están en Zoom que quieren hacer comentarios?
So we come to section 8. 8.1 is presentation of options for a new district logo.
Sí, entonces ahorita vamos a discutir el logo de la escuela.
We do, and I'll start us off. We've spent quite a while working through the Communication Advocacy Committee to get down to the stage where we're at now. At our last board meeting, we
Sí,
presented
entonces van a
3
estar
draft
viendo lo
logos.
mismo que han
We
estado
received quite a
viendo.
bit of feedback
De
since
Spark, el
that
mercadeo
time,
que está
and we have
trabajando
3
con
new
la
versions
nueva
to share.
logo.
Mr. Mattis, do we have Spark here to talk through? Okay, we have people assisting us with this who can talk through the presentation.
Entonces han visto ciertos recursos que están haciendo y eso lo van a repasar ahora.
Okay, so Christy Spar from Spark
La
Marketing
señorita
is going to
Spark
walk us through the
está
presentation
de Spark
and
y va
explain the
a
process and
pasar la
how we got
presentación.
where we are. Go ahead, Ms. Spar.
Thank you. I will go ahead and get started here. So we'll give a brief update on what we discussed in the last board meeting.
En las últimas 4 semanas que han tenido con el
And I'm
logo.
sorry, it's difficult for me to talk because I'm also hearing the translation. Sorry.
Me too.
Go ahead, we can hear you now.
Okay. Apologies. All right, so we'll start again here. So we're here Christy Spar from Spark Marketing, here to give you a brief update on the logo redesign process. Last time we were here, we showed you 3 logos that we were working on with the committee that we put out for review with the community. So today we'll recap a little bit our process there, review the results from the community survey, and then also to present where we are today with the current logo concepts. So we can go on to the next slide. Okay, so just a little background on the new logo and what we set out to do alongside the committee. That is to design a logo for the district that would reflect the tradition of excellence while also setting a tone for continued leadership and innovation. So we really wanted to address the lack of consistency in the current branding, the fact that the logo we felt did not, and this came from the committee and from the community work that was done before we came on board, that the logo was not reflective of where the district wanted to be and where it's going. So we set out to create a logo that would amplify the sense of tradition and pride, that would amplify the sense of diversity in the district and the feeling that you belong here, to celebrate the success of the district as well. We really wanted a logo that would strongly reflect innovation and also reflect equity, community, tradition, diversity, inclusivity, and that would be welcoming and inviting. And you can see some of the other sort of factors that we were looking at, and I apologize, it looks like this slide didn't translate well, but the desired look and feel, working from, looking at where we wanted to land in terms of being minimal versus complex and modern versus classic. So we went through a lot of different kind of upfront goal setting in relation to the new logo. So if you go to the next slide, you can see the 3 logos that we presented last time we were here. And as we mentioned then, these logos were still under review and scrutiny, both by our committee and by the Spark team ourselves, and they were also out for review by the community. So in the next slide, we'll look at what we asked the community members to respond to regarding each of these logos. So we asked them to identify how well the logo reflected the characteristics that I just showed in the previous slide. We looked at how well they felt the logo represented the district, how unique it was, and then any additional feedback. So we received over 550 responses to this survey, which was really, really helpful and valuable. So in the next slide, I'm just going to quickly give a high-level summary of what we found in the surveys. So for each logo, looking at kind of what were those top characteristics that people found in the logos. So for the first logo, excellence was the #1 characteristic. They also saw innovation and pride. Number 2, they saw innovation as well as diversity and community. And then logo C, they saw diversity, community, and innovation. So we got that innovation piece in there, which was good, in all three logos. Okay, then the next slide, looking at our, which of the logos they felt was most representative of the district. And by a slight margin, that was logo B, our student-inspired light bulb logo. And then, which was most unique, also was B, our student-inspired light bulb logo. Additional feedback that we received, so through the commentary that we wanted to take into consideration going forward, here's some of the consolidated themes that we heard that we wanted to make sure we looked at. Across all of them, there were concerns around color, and then each logo had some specific critiques that we found important to take into consideration. I'll let you read through that on your own. Okay. So from that, we looked at each of the logos together with the community, and we decided to discard logo A. Logo B, we took into account some very valuable feedback from the community, and we updated the color scheme and reworked the outer ring to make it represent unity more strongly. So we've got some bright, vibrant colors on that one. This again is our student-inspired logo. And then C, we actually were able to create two variations of this one. One addressing colors and making them more vibrant, and then two, a simplified version of that logo. So if we go down to the next slide, we can show each of these logos in a variety of formats so that you can start to visualize how this logo could be placed in various formats, whether it's placed on a dark background and knocked out in white, or whether it's in an emblem format, or in its full color, vertical or horizontal format. So that's logo A, our new logo A. New logo B, again, with all the different formats that you can see it in. And then logo C in all of its formats there. So that is where we are right now. And so next steps will be to select a logo and finalize one of those concepts, and then to begin to prepare the usage guidelines and a plan for rolling out the logo. All right. John, do you want to take over the conversation at this point with the board, or how would you like to proceed?
No, I think that's the next step, which is to get feedback from the board, and we can field questions either from the committee, to the board members on the committee, and Ms. Barr, if you don't mind availing yourself to answer some questions, and I think we're ready to go. So we'll turn it over to the board now for see if there are any questions. Separately on the agenda under the action area, there is an action item where the board would be asked to select one of the three logos as the district logo.
Yeah, so are there any questions from any members of the board? Trustee Campbell?
Are these final, or could we make more suggestions?
The intent was for this to be final based on the feedback.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay.
Is now a time should we wait to discuss this during the action item, or is it the pleasure of the board that we have that discussion here?
Probably here.
I think here, because under the action item, it just says we're going to make a motion for option blank. Option A, option B, or option C.
And you could certainly discuss it in both places, but we have Ms. Spark here now, so if there's any questions for Spark, I think now would be the time to ask the consultant.
Is it possible, I don't think we have a slide of that, but is it possible to put up the options on one slide so we can look at them? or to bring them back up?
You have them actually, if you go to slide number
Oh, 9.
9 at the
Yeah.
bottom, you can see the 3 new options, not with all the iterations, but in their primary format.
So option A is the new version of B. Option B is the first edited version of C. And then option C is the bottom one, in the bottom right.
Correct.
So we can just go to that slide, number 9, so everybody can see on one page. There we go. Any discussion? Lance, do you want to go first?
I have a couple things to say. So today I'll be advocating for concept C. Here are some reasons. So all directions that we have, I will say, are way, way better than what we have now. For me, this is actually an important decision, not one that I think we can just say, well, okay, it looks, this one is simpler or whatever. I think it does warrant at least a little bit of thought, because this is our face to the world. One of the things, I just have 3 points to make around why I'm advocating for C. The first one is diversity and equity. Concept C best articulates this as our value. One of the things that I think is important is just think about, and this is an aspect of the color. We've got Leon Veracruz green, we have Cesar Chavez blue, Conley gold, and Logan red. This really is inclusive of what's the best about New Haven. And I think that the second one, so the first one's around diversity and equity. Second one is distinctive. The first approaches that we've seen here, really, this is my opinion, is they could really be anywhere. They could be anywhere in the nation, right? It could be any school district anywhere. There's one, and there's only, C, I think, best is the most distinctive out of all of the versions. The third point is this is responsive to our past. Now, during the George Floyd protests of 2020, I had some tough conversations with folks in the community. And, folks said, you know what, the issue with the New Haven logo has been known for years. And so my response to this community member was, why hasn't the board done anything about this for the decades that this has been an issue? As a refresher, the big issue was, there were a few big issues. One, we have heteronormative forms of very gender-based figures. We had the white students in the center on top, and we had the black and brown students literally marginalized. They were literally on the margins. Now, what I'm doing, the way that I think about it is this is the most responsive and the most direct response to that. So if you put this side by side next to it, with all the explanations that I gave at the last meeting, so very quickly, I'll just run down. The slant as a baseline is to demonstrate the fact that not everybody starts on, can you go back to concept C, which is the one I'm talking about? Or no, concept B.
No, you're advocating.
So I misspoken. I'm advocating.
Slant, that was like, wait.
I'm advocating for option B. Sorry, I misspoke. On this one, you'll notice that the baseline, which is slanted, shows that all students don't start off at the same level playing field. The other thing is these varied segments that show varying heights show that in order for us to do our job, the job of equity is to put equitable supports where they belong. And a third aspect is that gold bar, which is everybody ends up equally, right? It's where we all end up. So if you actually take our old logo and our new logo, this is actually making a statement. Now, the criticism that I've heard is that that requires a lot of words to explain, right? But for the most part, most people are not going to be trying to explain this logo. A lot of people take a look at the logo and say, oh, that's the logo. But if we ever had to be asked, why is this logo the logo? Because we were actually, during the George Floyd protests, a lot of people on social media and in person asked, why is our logo like this? Because people start to lean in and really look closely. So at least we have a defensible story and one that reflects our values and our commitment to equity. As far as other aspects of it, my feeling, my professional opinion is that this is probably the most modern and bold and forward-thinking. So I apologize for spending so much time, but those are the reasons why I'm advocating for option.
Thank you. I'm advocating for option A. In our survey, the most people felt that the original version of this line was representative of our district, and also that it was unique. It's also our student-inspired logo. It is also the logo that most of the people on the committee were supporting. And I believe the new iteration really brings the concepts that we want to highlight, such as, equity and inclusion. You've got that circle around, everyone is in the circle, everyone is included. And I think that the innovation is shown by the light bulb. I also have concerns about the NHU thing, which were brought up by the community, that people will think it's a university and not a school district. So I don't have as many things to say as Trustee Nishihira, but those are my reasons. Yes.
Yeah, I too, I'm advocating for option A, that one right there. The reason for that is if you really want to attract people to come to our district, we want them to know that we're innovative. And to me, the light bulb is a sign of innovation and that we're progressing and moving forward. The circle around it, to me, is a sign of community, diversity working together. And the colors shows all the people in the community working together to make New Haven who it is. So, in short, innovation, the circle is the community, and the colors is the diversity. So I'm advocating for option A.
Thank you. Anyone? Trustee Gonzalez?
Yeah, I don't want to take away anything from the committee putting those long hours. I appreciate. But at a glance, just looking at this, I do like option B, but the U kind of just really throws me off. Maybe if that was just dropped, I would be in more support of it. But I like the final logo, option A, just based on the logo, not the messaging or anything else. And my vote would be, yeah, just option A. That's it.
Any feedback from our student member?
Me, myself, I also agree, and I am looking at option A as it includes the diversity for the NH on the logo. If you look just at it, not trying to put together the fact that it is NH for New Haven, you can see the different staggers in the concept, and that shows that everyone can go in any direction, but just within a circle to show that we are united as one, which is exactly me being in New Haven my entire life. That's what I would say our district is about. So option A for me.
And do we have anything from Trustee Chima on Zoom?
I lean towards option A. All of the reasons for that has been already described. So I am leaning towards option A myself.
Okay. Any more? No?
We'll get to the actual vote on that coming up. But it's been it was a really fun, creative process.
Yes. Thank you, Ms. Barr and team and everyone that worked on this in the committee.
Thank you very much.
I'm just going to reiterate a little bit that the Spark team and SPAR, thank you so much. You really made your presentation and your assistance with the process was invaluable. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Our pleasure.
All right.
Thank you.
So moving on to 9.1, the public hearing on the potential sale of the field area at Conley Caraballo High School. The NHUSD and the Hayward Area Recreation and Park District CARD are having discussions about the potential sale of approximately 2.48 acres of field area currently owned by the NHUSD adjacent to El Rancho Verde Park. Previously, a district advisory committee deemed the field area surplus to the district's needs. CARD has expressed interest in purchasing this field to add to the existing park in the area. The field would remain open to the public and available for school district use. If the sale is completed, revenue from the sale would be used to improve other district properties. The NHUSD is seeking community input on the potential sale of the field area prior to making a decision about its sale. So now would be the time if you wish to speak on this topic. Please raise your hand. Press star 9 on your phone. No speakers, nothing.
And no blue cards.
And no blue cards. Okay. Well, moving on then. We're moving on to our information items, section 10. 10.1 is discussion of public hearing dates for the district's LCAP and budget.
Okay, so I'll try to make something really confusing and detailed, very brief. The short of it is, the county template for our LCAP was incomplete when we filled it out and had it approved. It affected at least 6 other districts across the county. And unfortunately, because of that, we have to go, the county office of Ed's LCAP was one of their own LCAP, and they oversee this, was also incomplete. So we're all going through a process of having to basically have it revalidated publicly. So for us, and the unfortunate part of it is the county has to have our LCAP, and because the LCAP is linked to our budget, we have to have public hearings on both of those again, and this will be the 3rd time we've done it, on those 2 items, and within a specified window, and then it has to come back for the board for approval again on the 14th of September, because the county due date is the 15th, and that's a statutory deadline. What that means for us is I need to pick a date where at least 3 of you are available to, for probably, given that this will be the 3rd public hearing and we've had no public comment on it either time, it'll probably be a very quick special board meeting where we would truly, all we would do is open the meeting, open the public hearing, close the public hearing for the LCAP, open the public hearing for the budget, close it, and then adjourn the meeting. So I have a few dates, and if I can ask you, it's so hard to find dates, and unfortunately the timing is really, really, really tight. So what I was hoping is you could pull your calendars up now and look at either September 6th,
That's what we're doing.
September 8th, so that, oh my gosh, okay, so that day's out. So September 8th, September 9, September 10, or September 13. There are really only 4 days that work because of the way that the public hearing has to be noticed. If we can hold it any time of the day, and all I need are 3 of you.
I'm open 9 and 10.
I'm open the evening of the 8th, and I could do the evening of November 10th.
I can make the 9th. I prefer the 9th over the other dates, even though back to school night is that night. But other than that, I think it's a quick meeting. I think September 9th should work fine.
Okay, is there a time that works? We'll just go with the 9th then.
Well, first of all, will be done by Zoom.
We'll do it by Zoom. Given that we've done 2 public hearings already and had no comments, I think it'll probably could be a 10-minute meeting, might set a new record.
Probably in the evening, so other people, if they are planning to attend as well.
Mel, I think you have the most restricted work schedule. You want to, what time would it work for you on the 9th?
What about 6:15?
6:15.
And
You can do it, 6:15. Okay, we will hold our special board meeting on the 9th of September at 6:15 for the public hearing on the LCAP and the budget. Thank you very much, and that's perfect.
Perfect. All right. Moving on. 10.2, items from the board and superintendent. Anybody have anything to report? Orange Clippers?
Okay. Want to go first?
Well, hold on, we're still trying to calendar and answer. At the 9th at 6:15. Do you want me to start?
That's fine. You go for it.
All right, let's see. It was exciting to see the faces and the smiles of the students on the first week of school, and there is no explanation needed. They've been gone from school for so long, so they're just happy to be there. And then I went to see the classrooms after that. It was just so exciting to be there with kids, seeing those desks filled with kids. So that was a highlight of my week. And I would also like to welcome everyone to this new year, although it's going to be a bit challenging with new issues that we will probably face, including the ones we don't even know yet. It's going to be a better year and a wonderful year, so welcome back. Oh, and thank you to the staff who continue to work cheerfully in spite of the fact that they'll be using their free times and weekends and after work to make things happen for our students. I would like to especially acknowledge PLA, Grace Kim, for all the extra work beyond Call of Duty, so thank you.
Yes, Trustee Enrollment.
I also attended the first week of school. I did a visit. It was actually the second day of school. I went to James Logan High, and I chose the second day because first day is a little chaotic and wanted them to get their bearings. But I specifically wanted to see the rollout at the beginning of the school year, how they enter, how they go through the gate, they're wearing their masks, social distancing, student ID cards, and they have their schedules, and if students were lingering around, hanging out, or any of the other kind of problems. And overall, I was very impressed with Logan's staff and the students. They went right when the bell rang, they went right to class. And it was just, I was very impressive. It felt very safe for the staff, safe for the students. So just big shout out to Logan staff, and a special thank you for Assistant Principal Lark for taking the time. I know, first day of school they got 100 responsibilities, but he took the time and showed me around, and I didn't visit any classrooms because I know there was a lot of icebreakers and other things, teachers. I don't want to put the pressure on them coming into their classroom. But yeah, I have family and nieces that are at Logan, and I really feel safe, and it was nice to report back to the constituents that they're safe, they're fine. Don't worry about it, so that's it.
Yeah.
Trustee Nishimura?
I think in speaking with, I've got students at the school, and her report seems to jive with a lot of what we've heard here today. I have heard that a lot of people are just tired because they're not used to actually spending that much time, moving around and stuff like that. So there's going to be a certain level of just kind of conditioning that's going to need to get there. But ultimately, hats off to the James Logan administration as well as all site administrators throughout the district. I know it's tireless work. This has been a long time coming, and I'm really glad that it's here. At the same time, also fully aware of the fact that there will continue to be challenges. There are going to be new cases that pop up. It's not if there's going to be new cases, it's how well our team reacts when they actually do happen. Are we prepared? Do we follow the drill? One of the things that I really like is the fact that we've got the FAQs that are posted, so that when people ask me questions about what's going on, what's the protocol, I can simply just point to the FAQ, to a specific area, and there's a really good answer for it. So I think the communication plan, I think will continue to improve over time, so I'm very, very, very optimistic about that. On a different note, I did want to acknowledge the allegations of sexual assault involving our district students. Thank you, Superintendent, for putting out a message. And I think here the thing is the district takes all of these accusations seriously, and we will investigate them and take all the proper the proper protocols. In all cases, we will reach out to Union City Police Department, and they will handle the investigation. And so, regardless, we will stand by our students, and their safety, both physical and psychological, are of utmost importance. And we will follow the letter of the law and the policy and the protocols in keeping our kids safe. So, thank you.
If I could just add one thing while you're to your point. There was somebody that was confused. They thought it might be an involved staff member. And just to be clear,
yes,
the allegations were between students and don't involve any staff members at all.
Yes.
So.
And on top of that, it also, as far as my understanding, was off school time in most of the instances. There's a few out there that we're trying to untangle, but for the most part, the staff is on it. We are investigating and taking this very seriously.
All right, Member.
Thank you. Happy first week of officially being back at school come tomorrow. As a student, I love being able to see everyone back on campus. It's nice to know that people are being respectful of social distancing within their classmates. At least the teachers that I have, and I'm sure all teachers are taking the proper precautionary matters with their students, so thank you all for that. It's been nice to have some normalcy, especially knowing that my brother is now a freshman and he's going to school with me, so that's something that I would say is a plus, that he's able to maybe hopefully have a normal year, even if it is with a mask on. There's a few things going on at Logan. Freshman elections. Come Friday, we will have our freshman cabinet elected. The student advisory board, which is something that I uphold with my position at Logan, we will also be starting that come this Friday. We should be having an email sent out tomorrow to our staff at Logan, letting everyone know that if they'd like to be an advisor of one of the student clubs that we have for the 2021 to 2022 school year, that is an opportunity for everyone. And then for the students that would like to create new clubs, that's also opening up by submitting the charter forms, and we'll have a recruitment fair next week that all of you guys will be more than welcome to come and see if you'd like. And then we are looking at a back-to-school rally. We're trying to figure out the COVID-19 logistics and see the safety precautions. We're working with the administrative team right now, seeing if we have to divide it up by class or divide it just half and half of the student body. And other than that, finally, on behalf of the James Logan ASB, we extend our deepest sincerity to all of the victims that have come forward over the past weekend for their sexual assault experiences. We understand that it takes a lot of courage to speak up for yourselves, and we're proud of any and all victims for their bravery, and we support anyone who may need it. Right now, with the help of some administrators and a lot of student-led organizations, we're trying to get as much feedback as possible to see what it is that us as a leadership class can do to help support our classmates, and also while working with the administrative team to make it as understandable, respectful, and of course safe as possible for everyone involved.
Thank you. Do we have anything from Trustee Chima?
Yes.
Please go ahead.
First of all, I regret meeting you all due to a personal family emergency. Thank you so much for taking care of the business, all of you, especially Trustee Melissa Schwen-Mallory for stepping up and facilitating the meeting, and in the last meeting, assuming my role. It's good to know that our schools are open in person. I'm going through a lot at this time, but I will share some more details maybe in the next meeting. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So for me, I'm going to say a lot of things that people said. Due to my job, I wasn't able to visit the campuses, but I do literally live across the street from Emmanuel Elementary School. So I got to see and hear all of the kids going to school, some of them for the first time. It was so nice to see our crossing guard back at the corner of H and Sis. And, you know, and I saw some families bringing kids that looked pretty young, so probably their first time ever at school. So it just made my heart fill with joy to hear kids outside playing during gym and recess and seeing them going to school in the morning. So I'm really happy that we're able to do this, go back to school in person. And I just want to thank all the teachers that are coming back to school and, you know, dealing with the adjustment, and all the staff that are working extra hard hours to make sure that everyone's in the right place and we have all the protocols in place to keep everyone safe. I especially want to thank Grace Kim from the PLA. I heard she's been working really hard. We have a lot of parents that want to enroll their students in our PLA, and I just want to give kudos to our district for having this set up already ahead of time, because there's a lot of districts and a lot of parents that live in other districts that are looking for something like our PLA program. So I'm very proud of our program. I'm really happy that we have it. I also want to address seeing the allegations of sexual assault on social media. It's really hard for me to see. As we all know, women are more likely to be victims of sexual assault. As a survivor, I would like to just say that it takes a lot of bravery to come forward, especially when history showed us that the systems that we have in place don't always bring justice for the victims. So I'm very glad that the district is looking into this, that we're investigating the allegations, you know, that we're providing support to these students, and, you know, what should come of this is that all students feel safe in our schools. You shouldn't have to worry about being harassed or assaulted when you go to school. And, you know, that's something that we all aspire to. So I look forward to having those discussions to see what we can do, you know. Yeah. So, and thank you for reporting, you know, that the student body is doing something to support that. And I'm sure that the staff at the school of James Logan is willing to listen to anyone who needs to come in and speak to a trusted adult. And I'll just encourage people, if you see something reported, if something happens to you, report it. That's the best way that we can make sure that the school is safe for everyone. Finally, I want to acknowledge what's going on in Afghanistan and how it's affecting our local Afghani community. And just say that my thoughts and prayers go out to them. I know this is a really hard time for the Afghan community, and we have a very strong Afghan community here in our district. And so if there's anything that we can do to support you, please don't hesitate to reach out.
Can I add one? I just want to welcome our new student board member, Kalani.
Yeah, welcome, Connie. It's great to have you here. And hopefully we'll have somebody from our alternative programs here soon as well. So we'll be alone as a student up here. Okay. My turn?
Yes.
All right. I'll piggyback on our Afghan community. Thank you, Trustee Gonzalez, for requesting that we put something out. We did put something out today, and to essentially say what Trustee Mallory is saying, that we are here for whenever there's difficulty in our community, we're here to support. And, you know, all of our school sites are prepared and have resources to help families and students that may be going through a difficult time based on what's happening in Afghanistan right now. So that we're here for you that way. Reopening was fantastic. I didn't realize how much of my soul was fed by having students on campus, and I feel like I've been fulfilled. I try to get on campuses every day, and it's just, it's been fantastic to see. Like Trustee Nishihara said, we're not immune to having COVID positive cases. Right now, to date, we have 9 students and 4 staff members across our entire district. So we have, 10,000 plus kids and about over 1,000 staff members, and 9 students and 4 staff members that have tested positive. The good news is, so far, the only cases we've had have been linked to community, coming in from the community and not on school-based spread. So that's really good. If all goes well, we can keep it that way with our procedures and processes in place. I want to give kudos to Mr. McNamara and Ms. Benefield and our nurse, Ms. Concepcion, who have been really leading the charge to make sure that we are contact tracing properly. We're following all the protocols. We're following quarantine, modified quarantine, all of the different steps that have to be taken. It's rather complicated, but so far, due to their efforts, it's gone well. I do want to encourage anybody out there, parents or staff members, if your student is exhibiting any symptoms of illness, please do not send your student to school. Staff members, I know you battle through everything, but yeah, I'm going to encourage you, if you're feeling any symptoms of illness, COVID related or not, please stay home. Because right now, the consequences of knowingly being ill on our schools are pretty high. So we want to make sure that people are aware of that. To help with that, we have, in case you hadn't heard, at James Logan High School, we have testing available for all staff, students, and families of staff members and students. So that has been a heavily used resource. We opened that on Monday, and just since Monday, we've had a significant number of people who have been tested, which will be good. It'll help families figure out ahead of time if anybody has tested positive, and it'll help us help you and also help prevent COVID positive cases from coming into our schools. So I think that's going to be a benefit for everybody. Just a quick update on enrollment. Right now, preliminary numbers look like we are at or maybe even slightly above projection, which means we're still down because we project a loss, but we're, as long as we definitely don't want to lose any students, but we definitely want to make sure our projections, which is what our budget's built on, are accurate. And it's only what are we now? It feels like it's been a month already, but it's only been a couple of days. We're only a few days in, but we'll have firmer numbers coming up. But at least initially, the numbers as they're starting to shake out are looking good. I know a lot of districts across the country are concerned about losing large amounts of students, and it does not appear that's happening here, which is good. A couple of public service announcements here. We have free food for all of our students in the cafeterias. You don't need to pay for it. You don't need to be on a free and reduced lunch. So we haven't had a lot of students taking advantage of that. I want to encourage students to take advantage of that option. And parents, just think you don't have to make lunch for your kids. You just send them to school. So as a parent, I know that can be a big plus. We also, last announcement is we will have an opening on our bond oversight committee coming up. We have someone terming out. So please look for, if you're interested in helping support our bond measures and having some oversight over how we expend the funds and guide the projects, please look for that advertisement. Ms. Hellman, I think it's going to be on our website if it isn't already, right? It is already on our website. Thank you. And we're looking for there's different members that we have, I'm sorry. Yeah, business representative in the community. Okay. So there's a representative on the committee that has to be a representative of local businesses. So if you are a local business owner and interested in helping us, please do. And with that, I thank you, Ms. Kim, and thank you to the entire staff out there that are trying to get all of our kids where they need to be. So, and let's, we'll keep moving forward. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you. We are on item number 11.1. Well, we're on board committee reports. The first is 11.1, report from the Budget and Finance Committee. Do we have a report, Member Campbell, Senator Ball?
There's nothing to report.
Nothing to report. Okay, and then item 11.2 is report from the Communication and Advocacy Committee.
Yeah, so we met last Thursday. Let me know if I missed anything. We spent pretty much the whole time iterating and talking about the logo selection. We actually didn't get to the second part of our meeting, which was around what was discussed today around the information architecture and structure of our websites, which we are working on, which the agency is working very, very hard on. We will actually review that at our next communication and advocacy meeting, which at this point, I don't think we scheduled. Did we schedule it?
Tuesday, September 28th.
28th, okay,
Oh, that's the policy committee.
Oh, that's the policy committee.
Oh, okay.
I'm wrong.
I don't think that we scheduled it, so that would be an open item for us to figure it out.
Yeah, this is Thursday, August 12th, which was this past Thursday. So we'll schedule another meeting. I just wanted to add, to that, we were having a discussion about the website and, currently our websites aren't all linked and all these kinds of things. So these are going to get fixed. I was really impressed when we did talk about it, which was a couple meetings ago. Spark had already looked at our website traffic to see which pages were most accessed or what people were looking for the most, so that we can make our website more user-friendly and put the things that people actually use frequently up front and center, easy to find. So that's good. All right, and then the next is the policy committee. 11.3. We have not met since the last meeting, so we have nothing to report. Our next meeting is Tuesday, September 28th. Are there any other committee reports?
Well, I will say that a couple Fridays back, the New England Schools Foundation had a social gathering at President Sharpley's house, and it was good catching up with everybody, and I just appreciate the entire foundation staff for making that happen. That's it.
All right. So our next section is section 12, which is action items. Our first action item is 12.1, resolution number 002-2122, recognition of Latinx Heritage Month, September 15th to October 15th, 2021. Do we want to read this resolution? Do I have a volunteer to read this resolution? Member Campbell.
Thank you. Latinx Heritage Month, September 15 to October 15, 2021. Whereas American history reflects the determined spirit of perseverance and cultural pride on the part of the Latinx population in its struggle to equally share in the opportunities of a nation founded upon the principles of freedom and liberty for all people. And whereas the anniversaries of many independence and liberation movements throughout Mesoamerica, Latin America, and the Caribbean islands occurred during this time period, and whereas recognition and appreciation for the many valuable contributions of Latinx people to our society celebrated annually during Latino Heritage Month, and whereas Latinos comprise 39% of California's population and 22% of Union City's population, and are an integral part of the social, artistic, linguistic, cultural, intellectual, and economic tapestry of our community. And whereas the economic impact of the Latinx population can be measured in terms of nearly $1.7 trillion in purchasing power, more than 4.37 million U.S. Latino-owned businesses contributing over $700 billion to the economy annually, and a collective GDP of more than $2.13 trillion annually. And whereas the total number of students of Latinx heritage enrolled in New Haven Unified encompasses 38% of the total student population, and 22% of all students that speak multiple languages speak Spanish. And whereas the total number of students of Latinx heritage enrolled in public schools statewide encompasses 54% of the total student population. And whereas students of Latinx heritage are deservedly proud of their rich and diverse cultural heritage, which includes history, cultures, and contributions which will increasingly impact the social and economic life of our community and the state of California. And whereas it is important that the history curriculum in our schools at every grade level reflects the experiences of men and women of different racial, religious, and ethnic groups so that each student has an opportunity to understand the common humanity of all people. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the New Haven Unified School District will commemorate Latinx Heritage Month with appropriate instructional activities to recognize the significant contributions that Latinos have made in helping our nation achieve greatness. Passed and adopted by the following full vote the 17th day of August 2021.
Thank you. May I have a motion and second to approve resolution number 002-2122, recognition of Latinx Heritage Month, September 15th to October 15th, 2021.
Second.
Is there any discussion? Roll call, please.
Calderon,
Here. Aye.
Chima,
Aye.
Campbell,
Aye.
Gonzalez,
Aye.
Ishihara,
Aye.
Swinhour.
Aye. Our next is item 12.2, selection of the new district logo. This is such a momentous occasion, we've been working for so long. All right, early in the meeting during 8.1, we presented options for consideration of our new district logo. And it seemed that we had a consensus for option A. So may I have a motion and a second to approve option A as our new district logo?
Second.
Is there any discussion? Okay, roll call please.
Calderon,
Aye.
Chima,
Aye.
Campbell,
Aye.
Gonzalez,
Aye.
Ishihara,
Nay.
Swinhour.
Aye. Okay, that passes, and then the next section is our consent agenda items, section 13. Are there any items on which trustees have questions or need clarification or would like pulled for a separate vote? Seeing none, may I have a motion and second to approve consent agenda items 13.1 through 13.11?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. May I have a roll call, please?
Calderon,
Aye.
Chima,
Aye.
Campbell,
Aye.
Gonzalez,
Aye.
Ishihara,
Aye.
Swinhour.
Aye. And the next item would be section 14, discussion and action on items removed from consent agenda. Seeing as there are no items to discuss, we'll move on to section 15, governance review. Item 15.1 is assessment of governance procedures and protocols. Are there anything from the board? Yes.
Good job.
Thank you. All right. Seeing nothing else, we'll move on to section 16, item 16.1, board member requests. Superintendent Thompson, do you want to give an update on past requests?
Yes, thank you. I think the pending request, the main pending request we have out there is the Dakota data request, and I have good news on that. It looks like we'll be able to handle the data dive into the Dakota region in-house and be able to address attendance, graduation rate, discipline, A through G completion rate, and then test growth in a couple of different measures that we use to measure student performance and grades. And we'll be able to go back, we can't go back 10 years, we can go back 5 years, and we're hoping to have some data. We're beta testing the different models that we're, the different ways of approaching this right now, and I'm hopeful that at the September 14th board meeting, we'll be able to have some preliminary data to look at in a presentation. If that's our goal. So we're moving forward. It was, I think it's going to be a valuable and fruitful request. So I think that's the big outstanding item. Any other requests?
Yes.
Yeah, in the past, before the pandemic, this board, when the newly elected board members join the team, we have opportunities to have team building opportunities with the team after the election, usually in December at CSBA. And it may seem fluffy, but it's very valuable to be able to know the people we're working with. It makes the whole thing run smoother. So my request would be, I'm wondering if there will be opportunities in the future where this board could get together and have some kind of team building exercises and just get to know each other, because we're on our second year now, and we still have not had that opportunity to get to know each of the board members, aside from sitting here, and a lot of times we can't discuss the stuff that we talk about. But there's more than just the things we do. In order to be efficient, in order to be able to work in a collaborative way, we need to understand more than that. So the request is there a possible time in the future? I know it's hard with everybody's schedule, where we could do just that.
Certainly it's possible. I know that getting a date on the calendar has been tough. I think Ms. Valdez sent out hold the date for October 12th as a potential governance session. Perhaps we could combine, I don't know if that works, you'll have to respond. I think it's easier just to send out draft dates, I think, and have you respond yes or no than it is to go through all of the emails. So that would be a date where maybe we could look at doing something, maybe at the beginning, doing something like team building or casual interaction time, and then go into the governance part. That's a date that we can try to couple that with a governance session if we want. That's an idea, but I'm open to any other ideas that the board has.
I'm fine just as long as we come up with a date. I can, usually if there's weeks ahead of time, I can usually accommodate. Typically like to avoid weekends, but other than that,
Yeah, we could send us dates that we choose from. Tuesdays are usually better if we could tie it with board meetings, if it's workable with other people as well.
Okay. Yeah, I think the October 12th date is the Tuesday, so we could just take some of our time to do team building before we get into the governance portion, if that's okay with everybody. Yep, there's a consensus there.
We'll come up with some ideas and share them. And in general, I would encourage the board, as you're planning in the future, if you leaving Tuesday evenings open is probably, if we have to have a special board meeting, we always try to focus on a Tuesday. So I know that's not possible at all times, but if it's possible to plan around Tuesday evenings, just in case for the future, I think that's just helpful.
Thanks.
All right, we'll shoot for something on the 12th.
Okay. Any other requests for consensus?
I would request that staff actually do a little bit of research to figure out a way for us to make the whole Zoom board meeting a little bit smoother, investing in the right infrastructure, AV to make it a lot more integrated. So just maybe to come back with a few different options, because this won't be the last time, because there's going to for several times in several years I've been off-site while on business travel, and so this isn't a need that's going to go away when the pandemic goes away. So we should probably invest in the right infrastructure to make remote meetings more seamless. Anyway.
absolutely, and looking forward to following through that request.
I think I see consensus. Yes, okay. Any other requests? Trustee Chima?
No, I don't have any. Thank you.
Okay. I'm looking at in our executive content, we have a list of requests that have been made. The last update I see is from May, so.
Yeah, I think I know we had a request since, but.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. So.
I swear they were there too. So this is strange. I maybe cut it over a different meeting. We'll figure it out, but I know they were there at the last meeting, and I just noticed that too, so we'll get that updated.
Okay. All right. That is all. No other requests? All right. Officially adjourned.